The deeper you go, the thinner the light gets, until the forest starts to breathe on its own. Somewhere beneath the pines, whispers crawl between the trees, and old legends wake up. In today's horror documentary, we're following the trails people avoid, from glowing green orbs over pirate-haunted woods to shadowy figures and forbidden entrances where sunlight never reaches. These are the haunted forests of the United States, and once they notice you, turning back won't feel like an option.
Across the United States, there are forests people enter for peace and leave with a story they cannot explain. In daylight, they are only trees, water, wind, and stone. But after dark, familiar sounds become uncertain. A snapped branch becomes a footstep. A shifting shadow becomes a figure. And in some woods, local legends insist the forest is not empty at all. These are America's haunted forests, places where history, fear, folklore, and the unknown appear to grow from the same roots. In the woods of Chatham County, North Carolina, there is said to be a clearing that refuses to grow. Known as the Devil's Tramping Ground, it is described in local folklore as a roughly 40-foot circle of barren earth surrounded by living forest. The legend claims that each night the devil himself walks this ring, wearing the ground bare while plotting his next act of mischief. Visitors have reported strange whispers, unseen footsteps, and belongings that seem to move during the night. Others describe red eyes watching from beyond the trees. The soil has invited speculation for generations, but whatever the explanation, the empty circle remains a perfect stage for the imagination. In southeastern Massachusetts lies Freetown Fall River State Forest, often associated with the lore surrounding the Bridgewater Triangle. Its reputation is built from layers of local tales, unexplained lights, shadowy figures, strange voices, alleged ritual sites, and stories of violence that cling to the landscape. The forest is also connected to a long and complex regional history, including the history of the Wampanoag people. That history deserves respect, not sensationalism. Yet legends continue to circulate, stories of visitors who felt watched long before they saw anything at all. In these woods, fear often arrives before the evidence does. Near Chicago, Robinson Woods has gathered a darker reputation through stories of ghostly figures, distant drumming, whispers in the trees, and unexplained lights hovering near the forest floor. Some accounts connect the land to burial ground lore and to tragedies associated with its past. Such claims should be approached carefully. A place's cultural history is never merely a prop for a ghost story. But visitors still describe the same unnerving detail, the feeling that someone is standing just beyond the reach of the flashlight. New Jersey's Pine Barrens span more than 1 million acres of dense woodland, forgotten roads, and deep isolation. For centuries, the region has belonged to one of America's most enduring cryptid legends, the Jersey Devil. Witnesses have described a creature with wings, hooves, a horse-like head, and a scream sharp enough to freeze a traveler in place. Whether the legend began as folklore, warning, or invention, its power remains very real in the imagination of the people who hear something cry from the pines after midnight. And in a forest that vast, a person can be very alone, even when they are not. Maryland's Pocomoke State Forest is a landscape of swamp water, heavy fog, and trails that seem to narrow as the dark deepens. Local folklore speaks of drownings, murders, ghostly apparitions, and voices echoing across water where no one can be seen. The natural world offers plenty of explanations. Wildlife, wind, water, and isolation can play cruel tricks on the senses. But for those who have heard their own name whispered from the reeds, logic may feel very far away. The Black Hills of South Dakota carry profound cultural, historical, and spiritual significance. They are also surrounded by stories of strange lights, voices at dusk, and figures seen on lonely roads. No documentary can claim to explain what people believe they encountered here, but it can recognize the force of place: vast ridges, dark pines, sudden weather, and a silence large enough to make every human sound feel temporary. Sometimes, the oldest feeling in the woods is not fear. It is the awareness that the land was never ours to fully understand. In California, Elfin Forest has inspired stories of curses, apparitions, unexplained sounds, and sudden cold spots beneath its oaks and chaparral. It is easy to understand why. In the half-light, its branches twist into strange shapes. Its hills conceal what lies only a few steps away, and its silence feels less like an absence of sound than a pause, like something listening for the next footstep. The forest does not need to move to make a visitor feel unwelcome. Why do forests become haunted? Part of the answer may be history, loss, conflict, tragedy, and stories carried across generations. Part may be psychology. Dense woods restrict vision, darkness hides distance, wind bends branches into silhouettes, and animals make sounds the human ear struggles to place. When people are afraid, the brain becomes a gifted storyteller. But skeptics and believers meet at the same threshold: the feeling of standing in a forest at night, hearing something move, and realizing they cannot see what made the sound. For anyone drawn to these places, the safest rule is also the simplest. Respect the land. Travel with others. Bring light, navigation tools, water, and proper clothing. Stay on permitted trails. Do not trespass. Do not disturb wildlife, artifacts, graves, memorials, or culturally significant sites. The supernatural may be the reason people visit, but the wilderness is the danger they should never underestimate. Perhaps haunted forests are places where stories survive because the dark gives them room to breathe. Perhaps every whisper has a source, every light an explanation, every shadow a natural shape. Or perhaps some woods hold their secrets because they have learned not to share them. The next time a forest grows quiet around you, listen carefully. It may be nothing, but then again, the trees have been standing there far longer than anyone who walks beneath them.
When the last trail fades behind you, remember, forests do not forget. Beneath their roots lie old griefs, whispered legends, and shadows that may be older than the paths we follow. Perhaps every voice in the dark belongs to wind and wildlife. Or perhaps, somewhere beyond the reach of your flashlight, something has heard you leave. So tread lightly, respect the silence. And if the trees begin to whisper your name, don't answer.